Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Pearsall, and I'm really pleased to be able to welcome you all to the final Meet the Makers live stream that we're doing for the 2020-21 school year. We're finishing up with a great episode. We're going to be celebrating the launch of our new social emotional learning for adults program by getting a chance to meet the leader of the team who put it all together. First, I'd like to begin with a land acknowledgement. Committee for Children's offices sit on the unceded traditional lands of the Coast Salish peoples, specifically the first people of Seattle, Washington, the Duwamish tribe. As we honor the Duwamish people and their ancestors, it's also important that we consider our place in the past, present, and future history of the Indigenous peoples of our region, as well as how we can best support them. Thank you. Now, I am very pleased to introduce to you Rachel Kamb, Senior Manager of Product with the SEL for Adults program. Rachel, welcome to the Second Step community.
Thanks, Matt. Hi.
So, and we're really glad to have you here because I know you're super busy because you just launched a program 2 days ago. So congratulations.
That's right. Yeah. Yes, we did. SEL for Adults. We're really excited about that. So I'm just trying to catch my breath now.
So I think we're going to be talking just a little bit about the origins of the SEL for Adults program today. But I thought it might be fun to start off by asking, well, what does a product manager do? What is your role? What have you been doing for the last how many years?
Yeah, how many years? So, I've been at Committee for Children for going on 14 years now. As I started, really, the majority of my time was as a program developer, creating the programs. That role sort of shifted when we moved into the technical environment, the digital release of middle school. So then I became a product manager. And so a product manager kind of does a lot of stuff. We're involved in just about every aspect of the program, from the initial conception and vision, and then, developing the research, seeing what people need, developing partnerships who you're going to work with to develop the program, the framework, the content, prototyping, testing it in the field, creating the thing, getting the software built, and delivering it to the people. So that's me. But another thing that a product manager does, you really, if you like analogies, is kind of like the captain of the boat, right? So you're making sure that you're steering the boat in the right direction. So that's really my job with my team, is to make sure we're all kind of keeping our focus on the right direction, except we're also building the boat at the same time that we're trying to steer it. So it gets a little complicated. Anyway, that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's it. Doesn't sound like too much. So kind of take us back to the beginning of SEL for Adults. Why did Committee for Children decide to create an SEL program just for adults, just for educators?
Yeah. So, right. We've been developing curriculum, student-facing curriculum, for a number of years. And our mission at Committee for Children is really safe children in a thriving world. And we had to kind of take a step back and say, look, if we're going to reach that many children and have an impact on that many children, then we need to reach the adults too. But it's not only that, there would also seem to be kind of a growing demand for it in the field, this idea of SEL for adults.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where we started. But we really, what do you mean by SEL for adults? Everybody was saying, oh, we need SEL for adults, but we really needed to unpack that. Everybody has a different idea what SEL for adults means. And I think for a long time, the idea was that SEL for adults is teaching the adults how to teach the kids social emotional skills. But really, we wanted to unpack that a little bit. So we started with interviewing. We started asking people. So we interviewed over 25 people in the field, mostly district and site leaders, and some experts in SEL as well. And the outcome of that is really what we needed to focus on. were the adults' social and emotional competencies and their wellness. So it was really clear that the adults had to feel really competent in their own social emotional learning skills, as well as feel happy and
Hmm.
their well-being taken care of.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was the genesis.
I mean, it's been interesting. I've been struck. One of the other things that we do in the Second Step community is we spotlight educators that are using Second Step program and talk to them about their work. And something I've heard repeatedly over the last year from people from educators that I've had a chance to talk with is saying, if you could look back, you've been doing the Second Step program for 5 years or 8 years or whatever. What would you go back and start off with if you could change, if it's something you could change about how you started, what would you change? And over again, I kept hearing people saying, I would have started with the adults. I would have started with the adults. I wish we would have focused on adults SEL before we started focusing on kids SEL.
Yeah. It's really clear that we have to take care of the adults before we can expect them to take care of their students.
Mm-hmm. So how long has you been working on this program? What is it's out. Has it been like what, 9 months?
9 months. Yeah, so a program like this takes some time, that's for sure. We've been working on it for the last 2.5 years. And in terms of developing a program from the ground up, that's actually pretty rapid. However, we had a more ambitious timeline, but I have to say the pandemic kind of got in the way of this. We were right in the middle of doing field testing, and we work with a lot of practitioners and teachers and site leaders to develop the content and do videotaping and modeling some of the strategies and routines that are highlighted in our program. And as you know, the world kind of shut down right in the middle of that. So that delayed us a little bit. We continued on, of course, and we got really creative with how we created our media. And we still, and actually in some ways, the timing was good because we are developing a digitally delivered professional learning, and suddenly there was a huge demand for that. So we were able to continue on with our field testing with the schools, and so we got some really good insights about how teachers collaborate online and work with their students online. So in a lot of ways, I think it really helped to inform the program in the end.
And you didn't just stop either. You released a whole module publicly. You released the whole resilience module, which I know so many educators appreciated having access to last fall as we were in the height of the pandemic.
Yeah, that's right. We did have to take a moment and say, wow, if we really want to help educators, right now is the moment. So we did take a pause and we pivoted and we had to take a look at the research around dealing with a crisis. So that's what we did rapidly. But we also pulled a lot from what we were already working on around managing stress, because when we looked at the literature, we found a lot of it overlapped into some of those skills and routines and strategies and things people do to manage their own emotional well-being on a daily basis. So we integrated some of that into our resilience during crisis module, which yes, we did offer to the public for about 6 months last year.
So I'm thinking now that the program is out and it's real and it exists and people are using it, I'm wondering if you could look back on what day one of when you launched, of when you stepped in to start the program 2.5 years ago. How did your vision change? How did that what's new and
yeah,
what do you wish you would have known 2.5 years ago that you know now?
I mean, it's a process, and that's kind of the fun thing about working on a project like this is you create something that you think is going to work, you try it out, you get feedback, and you're like, that wasn't quite right, and you keep iterating on it to get something that's really valuable and works. But as a team, we kind of came up with this vision about what we wanted this product to do, and really it was inspire educators, transform learning, and strengthen communities. We decided that was the vision we were going for. And we really held tight to that the whole time. And when I talked about like steering us in the direction, we had to keep focusing back on that vision and asking ourselves, is this a direction we're still going? And we were able to keep saying yes, yes, yes. So in some ways, yes, the details have changed, but the vision has not.
Hmm. So what's next now that we've launched the program and exists? What's next for your work?
It doesn't stop. So SEL for Adults is a continuous learning model. So we will continue to add content over time. And this first year, we released the first year of content. So it's module 1 and module 2, building trust and managing stress. We are actively working and field testing our content right now for year 2, which will be developing equity and advancing equity and developing efficacy. So those are in progress right now. And we also are content planning for year 3 and beyond. But I want to note, we're trying to stay flexible to the needs of educators, just like Matt, you pointed out how, who knew we were going to have a pandemic and there was going to be this worldwide crisis. Yeah. So we want to kind of remain flexible so we can respond to some of those needs. So that's why we haven't charted out a full scope and sequence for 5 years, because although we're working on the direction, we still want to keep that flexibility open. So we make sure that we really hear the educators, hear their needs, and respond to them and create programs that are really going to work for them.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Rachel. I know you're super busy right now with the launch of the program, but it's been so much fun to get kind of a peek behind the curtain on what's not on your work and the work of your team.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here today, not only because I get to talk to you, but be here today in that this is the week that we've launched SEL for Adults and it's out in the world.
So yeah, and if you would like to learn more about the SEL Adults program, we have a webinar coming up next week on the 10th. That's going to be a real deep dive into the program where you get a chance to take a look at it and explore it and in detail. So if you'd like, and it's a completely free webinar. If you'd like to watch it, here's the registration for it. And if you are watching this as a recording and it is no longer June 10th, I mean, it's June 10th is past, don't worry. This webinar will be available as a recording from the Second Step YouTube channel. So you can either watch it live if you're seeing this in time to watch it live, or you can watch it on YouTube. So and also I want to let everybody know, we mentioned a couple of times in here the Second Step educator community. This is a community that we host events like this where you get to meet people that are working behind the scenes at Committee for Children. You also get to meet your fellow educators in interviews, and then best of all, you get to connect with an amazing community of practice with educators from across the United States and around the world who are using the Second Step program in a variety of different settings. I think collectively there are thousands of years of Second Step experience in this community of almost 8,000 people, and we would love to have you join if you'd like to connect and learn and support your fellow, learn from your fellow educators and support your fellow educators. I highly encourage you to check it out. Again, it's completely free. It's a Facebook group, easy to join, and we'd love to see you there. So until then, I'm going to say thank you, everybody. Stay healthy, and also, in case I don't get a chance to talk to you again before then, have a wonderful summer break. Y'all have earned it. So take care and stay in touch.